Good evening and welcome to episode 113. As always, we'll start with our gratitude attitude. So, if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, let all your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, let your body completely loose. Now, think of one thing that you are thankful for that happened in the past week. Once you identified that, think about why you're thankful. And now let's set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud what you are thankful for and why. If you're with someone, tell it to each other. All right. So today, let's talk about patient acceptance. It's a fascinating topic, as you'll discover. And we probably dabbled into it here and there. I may have mentioned a couple of times. If you think about acceptance has its root in patience, right? And rejection has its roots in anger. So, in a way, this is a discussion about anger versus patience. A patient mind is immensely creative and flexible. But before we can be creative or flexible in any situation, we have to accept it first. we cannot come out fighting. Because effectively, what we are doing is fighting reality. Why do I say that? Because things are happening the way they are happening, whether we accept them or not. Say your car broke down, right? And you have a very important meeting. A lot of people, the first reaction is getting angry. No point getting angry about it. We have to accept the fact that car broke down. Then we can do something about it, right? Either you call AAA or you take an Uber for your meeting or call a friend or what have you, right? There are a million different options, if you will. But I need to accept that without getting freaked out about it, happily, peacefully, then I can do something about it. So patience is not about doing nothing, right? Just because you're patient doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Being patient means welcoming wholeheartedly whatever arises and not giving up the idea that things should be other than what they are. And that's the key, right? There's a classic saying, I think, which is so it ain't so. Say it, so it ain't so, right? Say it ain't so, right? Tell me it's not what it is. It's always what it is. Because the point is that things are not other than what they are. If they were other than what they were, fine, but they're not. So we have to accept happily. The flip side of this is that we don't accept what is happening. Usually, when we don't accept what's happening, anger comes into play. And thing with anger is that it exaggerates. Anger has a tendency to make the mountain out of the molehill. If we get angry with our partner, for example, or a friend, right? We basically build up an image of an interestingly faulty person. We focus on everything that's wrong with them. Right? They can't do anything right. Every single thing they do is annoying. And we forget about anything that is good about them, including any kindness they've displayed towards us or others for that matter, right? But we just don't see it because anger exaggerates. Geshe Kelsen Getso says that every opportunity to get angry is also an opportunity to develop patience. I thought that's an amazing sentence, right? Think about it. Last time you were mindful and watching your thoughts, and when the anger was about to rise, you tame it back into its track. Beautiful. You thought things through, you forgave, you let it go, and so forth. You were able to patiently accept what was instead of what could have been. And when that happened, you were at peace. Now, the trick is to do it every time. I know it's difficult, but you know it's possible because you've done it before. Now, I want to make it one thing clear. We are not talking about suppressing anger, right? Because that just becomes passive aggression. And we won't be able to catch the anger train coming up every time either. If we are not able to catch it and anger just arises, once the anger has arisen and takes over our mind, you kind of just have to let it pass. Because once it's there, there's no way taming it back. You can catch it right when it's growing, but once it's there, it's very difficult, if not impossible. There's not much you can do. A lot of people just go in their room and quiet down for a couple of hours until it passes. I find personally that exercise tends to help, at least for me, right? But again, the real remedy is to stop the anger train before it leaves the station, if you will. And what do they say about habits? Is that if you do something 40 times, I didn't know that until I started researching this, it becomes a habit. I knew the 21-day rule, but this 40 times is an interesting rule. So if you do something 40 times, it becomes a habit. So say, okay, next 40 difficult situations and annoying people that come up, I'm going to try and practice patience 40 times. Just an idea. I'm just going to try it for the next 40 times, persons or situation, and see if my habits change. See if my go to mind becomes that of a patience instead of that of an anger. How wonderful that would be. So that we start to feel like a happier person, right? And when we are happy, we don't get angry. It's like a feeds off each other, if you will. Because if we do get angry, then happiness goes away. So, in general, if we are able to make ourselves happy and we are able to stay calm, peaceful, contented, right? Dealing with anger is going to be much easier. It's not going to rise nearly as often. Because when it starts in our mind, we are able to deal with them a lot more easily. Because we're happy, right? We see, I like being happy because I actually prefer to be happy. So we need to know methods to make ourselves happy that will allow us to stay peaceful. Whenever we have love for others, when we are enjoying others, when we have compassion, usually we are happy. So, one way to be happier within ourselves is to just allow our mind to settle down in its own peaceful nature as often as we can, right? And we try this during our breathing meditation. Just settle down, and mind starts to feel more peaceful. Our heart feels balanced, content, happy. And I said this before that if when that happens, not if, when that happens, I think we should think about I'm a naturally a peaceful person, not naturally angry. Even if you have a strong habit of irritation, annoyance, doesn't matter because that's not who you are naturally. It's a delusion which you have. I think we talked about this that deep down, we all have this golden nugget, right? Our peaceful nature. But right now, on that golden nuggets, we have this mud or the dust of anger, attachment, hatred, jealousy, all that delusions. So we're not able to see our peaceful self, which is our true nature. But we are by nature a peaceful, joyful, happy person. So we need to identify with that and forget about the dust which surrounds that golden nugget, if you will. We think actually who I am is a peaceful, happy person and try to identify with that because that helps. That allows us to keep that peaceful feeling going. If we can try to settle down in our heart, maybe, every few hours, no matter what's going on, right? Put a smile on your face. Naturally, happy person comes out. You do that enough times, and now, anger doesn't arise as easily. So that's the idea. In today's meditation, as always, we'll first settle down at our hearts, focusing on our breath. Then we'll observe this awareness in the universe. And when a thought arises, and it will, we'll label that thought with the first word that comes to our mind and forget about it. Once you label it, usually that thought will go away as long as you don't chase it. And a second thought will pop up. Again, we'll label that. And you'll notice that the period between the two thoughts will increase, right? It won't come as fast, which is good. But it doesn't matter if it comes, 10 thoughts a minute or 100 thoughts a minute. We'll keep labeling it with the first word that comes to mind. Reason we do this is that if we start making that practice during the day, when a negative thought comes up, we'll be mindful all of a sudden. Say, that's a negative thought. Let's not chase that, right? Let's not go that rabbit hole. And we'll be able to identify happy, skillful, sad, all those thoughts and drop the negative thoughts from our life. So that's the idea behind all this thing. So if you're ready, let's begin. Please get into your meditation posture. Cross-seated position if you can. If you are in a chair, just make sure your feet touch the ground. Your back straight. Spine upright. Shoulders leveled. Gently close your eyes. Keep your mouth just a little bit open. So any stress you may have accumulated in your jaws will disappear. Palms in your lap, right or left, thumbs touching gently each other. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, see all your muscles loosen up. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, let yourself completely go like a rag doll. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention at your nostrils for about a minute or so on your own. Bring your attention at your heart. Experience the peaceful nature of your root mind at your heart. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Keep your focus on your root mind, your awareness. What arises? Simply label it with the first word that comes to mind. Don't chase it. But what arises? Simply label it and keep your focus on your awareness. If a thought arises, simply label it, don't chase it. Keep your focus on the vast awareness that is your root mind. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions, comments?
All good, Neeraj. Thank you.
All good? Ankar? Go ahead.
Anybody else? Sapan says all good, so he has a question. How about Aditi?
Another loaded, beautiful session, I think. Hardest virtue for me to cultivate, but with patience, I will get there.
Absolutely. We'll get there, Aditi. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Have you watched Godfather, Aditi?
Parish Rawal's movie?
No. Godfather is a classic American movie. Marlon Brando.
It's a very old movie.
It's an old
Oh.
1970s movie. And there's a one
Yeah.
classic scene there. This guy is a mobster, New York mobster. And he's about to die. And he's sitting down with his son, Michael Corleone.
Uh-huh.
And he looks, he's asking the same question over and over again. So Michael says, Pop, what's bothering you? He says, well, I don't apologize for my life. Now, this guy's a mobster, right? His son's a mobster. But I had different plans for you. I was hoping there would be Senator Corleone or Governor Corleone. And Michael says, "We'll get there, Pop, we'll get there." My favorite line. So we'll get there, Aditi, don't worry.
Yeah, I noticed. One beautiful thing that, like, whenever you say there is nothing to do and nowhere to
Where to go?
go, but today you used like little bit extra pause there, so you were trying to put like patience. It was so beautiful.
Thank
For I mean, yeah. So now, Uncle, that those were only my thoughts. Now you can please expand.
Well, Nirav, I think the person changes his behavior from peaceful to the anger, probably with some additional information or knowledge about the situation. He is very calm and quiet with limited information or knowledge. But as he gain more and more information about the situation, particularly like he has been cheated or he has been not given due respect, he gets frustrated. And that frustration gets converted into anger when it becomes beyond his capacity to handle.
So let me put
Yeah.
two ways, okay?
Yeah.
First of all, you are the epitome of patience. Okay. I don't know anybody who's as patient as you are. So I mean that's for sure. We gotta learn from you.
Thank you.
Now, as far as so this is a shortened version. I'm actually giving this talk in a longer version, hour and a half version this Saturday, where I actually talk about exactly that. Is that more information comes in and now you're frustrated and whatnot, right? So the way not to get angry at that point is to realize that we are in this situation because of our karma. Okay. It's our past actions which has put us here. It is this life or the past life. If we react angrily, then we are creating more negative karma. And that thought process is one of the ways we prevent from getting angry, even though we feel like we've been wronged, if you will, right?
I think Nirav, the stage in between will be the frustration, that even before you get angry, you are frustrated with the situation, with your loved one or with your job or anything.
Right.
I think that's a intermediate. And when it becomes beyond like your ability to handle that frustration, if you can come back to the peaceful mind, yes, that's a turning around point in your life, basically, or on that day. But if it becomes beyond your capacity, which you can handle or digest, then you become angry and then it comes out. That's how I see, basically.
So that point where you say the in-between point of frustration, that's when
Yeah.
we need to catch ourselves, right? That's when we need to be mindful, say, hey, I may get angry. I might as well start this thought process, right? If we can catch it, that's the key, right? If we
Yes.
cannot catch it and we end up being angry, then, at that point, either you just go for a walk and come back 2 hours later when you calm down, so you don't say things you would regret, right?
Which you should not have.
We all done it, right? So,
Can I
please,
add a little bit?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Uncle, for this particular thing, I am nowhere near controlling my anger or frustration, but there is couple interesting things I read or heard, I guess. One is, I'm forgetting the author's name, but basically he was saying that in a situation when something happens to you and you react about it, there is a very tiny pause, and in that pause you have to just take control of the whole situation. um, uh, yeah, it's sometimes really difficult to find that pause and act accordingly, but that was one thing. And the other thing I think Nirav started today was like acceptance, right? So when he was actually explaining, I think he said the very same thing, that accepting is not like you have to like it what's going on, I mean, if you are on vacation in Seattle or somewhere, and it's raining every single day and every single hour, uh, you don't have to like that, but you accept that. So these are the two beautiful things I think will suitable to all of us, I think, today for today's session.
I agree
Yeah.
100%, Aditi.
Mhm,
And that pause you mentioned,
mhm,
that's when mindfulness comes into play, right?
mhm.
We have to be mindful to catch that pause, otherwise we lose it.
Yep. And you regret about that.
Yeah, you
You
regret
know.
the moment you say it, but you say it anyway. So
Yeah. So like when you become angry, it's like, okay, where did my wisdom went? I mean, where did it go?
yeah.
So it's like that. But yeah, I'm in the same boat like Uncle is. Sometimes it's a limit. There is a limit. I have 100% absolutely understand that some people do try our patience. uh, but look at the bright side, that there's more practice and we will reach to that 40 count faster.
That's right. That is, you got it. You got it, Aditi. You got it. So,
All right.
all right.
Okay.
I
I'm
will
gonna
let
stop
you.
recording.
Yeah.